This is a video presentation of Bible 2114, Unit number 10A, entitled Jacob. As a result of this lecture, the student should be aware of the covenant made to Abraham, confirmed with Isaac, and now confirmed with Jacob, the divine working of God, and the close cultural ties between the Bible and ancient Near East material, especially as it relates to marriage and the family. And now here's your host for today's presentation, Dr. Roy Hayden.
In the last lecture, Abraham was discussed. Emphasis was placed on the covenant and election. And in this lecture, these same subjects will be continued. Abraham entered into a covenant with God. The terms were established by God and included the promise of descendants, a land, and blessing for all the world's inhabitants. This same covenant was confirmed with Isaac, the son of Abraham and Sarah. He was the son of promise, born when Sarah was 90 and Abraham was 100 years old. He displaced Ishmael as the heir of Abraham, and this demonstrated the elective process which God used throughout this period. Abraham secured a wife for his son Isaac from his own people. After a period of barrenness, which lasted 20 years, his wife Rebekah gave birth to twins, Esau and Jacob. Isaac favored Esau because he liked to eat of the game which Esau caught in the field. Rebekah, on the other hand, favored Jacob because he was inclined to stay at home, and, perhaps for the more important reason, the oracles she consulted before their birth indicated that the younger would rule over the elder. Jacob was the younger. He was able to obtain the birthright from Esau by giving him some red stuff for it. The red stuff is, of course, some kind of food, generally thought to be a stew made from red beans. Later, he also stole the blessing. This blessing was very important. It needs to be looked at in detail. In the Hebrew mind, words are more than abstract symbols to express ideas. They are extensions of the personality. They almost have a life of their own which sets about to fulfill what was spoken. Thus the blessing, especially if it is made on the deathbed, is binding. It may be thought of as prophecy, or in terms of modern psychology, the controlling principle or drive, whether conscious or unconscious, which brings about the desired end. Isaac was old. He thought he was dying. Therefore he called his eldest son Esau to make arrangements for the blessing. Genesis 27:1 does not give the age of Isaac, but merely states, when Isaac was old and his eyes were dim so that he could not see. He asked Esau to prepare a meal for him from the game which he loved, and then promised to bless him before he died. Rebekah overheard this conversation and immediately made plans to steal the blessing for Jacob. She called Jacob and told him what to do. Jacob was reluctant. He realized that if the ruse did not pay off, he would be cursed instead of blessed. But Rebekah convinced Jacob of her ability to carry it out, and he became a conspirator with her to deceive his father. A couple of kids were prepared in a manner Isaac loved, undoubtedly camouflaged to taste like wild game, and Jacob was fixed up to feel and smell like Esau. Hairy skins were put on his hands and neck, and he was dressed in Esau's garments. The deception worked, and Jacob was blessed by his father. A short time later, Esau returned. When he prepared his game and went to his father to receive a blessing, Isaac realized he had been tricked, but it was too late. The blessing had been pronounced, and it could not be revoked. The blessing gave material prosperity. May God give you the dew of heaven and of the fatness of the earth and plenty of grain and wine, and also authority. Let people serve you, and nations bow down to you.